different time, different place, same video. I'm actually near the same sea. For the part one of this video, I was just on the other side of that. Uh, we're sort of in a crescent here. So I was on the other side on another crescent in another town called Albisona. Now I'm in my own hometown of Liguria, and I have the worst zit I've ever had because I ate too much cheese. So let's walk a bit. Okay, so this episode is important. Like, maybe it's too long. I don't know what you think of it. I'm trying to reach in my pocket because I took some notes. Because the rest of what I have to say is probably the most important of this video, and I don't want to take too much of your time, so I want to go through it as efficiently as possible. All right. So, what have we learned so far? There are psychological operations going on to influence what people think, what people do. All right, that's a given. There are rumors of white hats, so positive military or secret service and whatnot, people helping humanity in the background. People talking about this are getting heavily censored, which is usually a hint that it might be true. uh, some people are saying that, like the ones that are the censored the heavier, are the ones saying that the white hats are currently in control of a lot of the system. And by the way, it's been a few days since I taped the first part of this video, and already I'm seeing in newspapers and everywhere a lot of truth coming out in mainstream newspapers. Front page of, I don't remember the name, some Italian newspaper. Front page, they owe us excuses. I think you know what I'm talking about, that I don't want to mention here. So, oh no, you see behind me, that's a church. We might get the bell. And so, as I was saying, if eventually we win and the guilty people get arrested and get seized, their assets get seized, their asset might include incredible technology that we can barely imagine that would belong to us, and that would be how humanity would be catapulted into a future we can barely imagine today. What most people would consider thank you, what most people would consider science fiction. So this science fiction scenario is actually possible. Don't forget that most people thought that the fact that big pharma and government were lying to us was impossible. And now it's front page news. Not everywhere, but in a lot of places. Not in Quebec. The 8th wave. I don't think people are going to buy it, but we'll see. People will never cease surprising me. And now I feel a little bit bad because, I don't know if you can see behind me, there's a lot of people walking a little further. That means I could have brought my guitar and paid for some of my groceries. God damn it, should have been here. Anyways, I guess talking to you is my new life. So, all that is really nice and good and well, but we have to be very careful about a few things that I want to talk about. Okay, I got three points I want to make. They might be a little long, but I'll try to be as short as possible. Number one, we have to be careful because those white hats, positive military, whatever you want to call them, they might exist. They might work to remove our enemies of humanity. That doesn't absolutely mean that they work for us. That doesn't absolutely mean that they are well intended. Maybe they're just another predator that wants us as the prize, or that wants whatever we have. So I don't know about that. I read, for years I've heard, for example, Benjamin Fulford was saying that in the background there were a lot of meetings between a lot of high ups, people in like some monarchy, some secret society, some uh, military, blah blah blah, and that they had sort of agreed that no, they didn't want to destroy humanity, and that the best thing for them and us would be to have a kind of uh, a kind of positive reset for humanity, something like that. Uh, we'll see. Actions speak louder than words. So, so these white hats, you know, they might be enemies of the deep state, or they might also be controlled opposition. They might be there, again, as Mark Passio says, just as a big psyop, saying, don't do nothing. But if you look at Q messages, General, what's his name? General Flynn, is that it? Um, they always say, don't wait for the cavalry, do things yourself, you know, talk about it. And you have, basically, they always leave the power to us. So I don't know if you can see, but there's a big ass boat. Oops, a big ass boat coming up. Whoop, there. Anyways, not sure the camera can catch it. That's coming from the city of Savona over there. Uh, you know, like a good example of what I'm trying to say is, remember when Obama was elected? I remember watching that election, watching the inauguration night and his speech, you know, the famous "Yes We Can" speech, and I was really moved. What an idiot! I was really moved. But you know, why did he feel? What did it feel so right to have this guy be elected? Because the guy before him was George W. Bush, which was the worst idiot ever. And I remember after that speech, I was like, wow, man, this guy's... Because I didn't know him very much. I hadn't heard him speak much. After that speech, I was like, wow, this guy's incredible. And also the fact that he was the first American black president, you know, African-American president in the United States. Just for that, I would say historically it was worth it, going through some Obama stuff. But then a few days later, he announced his staff, like his counselors or whatever, consiglieri. And it was the same guys as Bush. He had the same guys advising him. Or like, I don't remember how many, like maybe 9 people or 8 or something like that. I think two of them were different, but it was the same warmongering assholes, and it didn't change anything. He took everything that Bush did, and he made it worse, but with a smile and with his, you know, quirkiness, and he was shown in the media like some hero. But just want to show you that big ass boat I was talking about. There he is, big cruise ship. Hire me, play guitar. So okay, so number one, we got to be careful that whoever's trying to save us or help us doesn't end up being the new enemy. So that's number one. Number two, we have to do the job no matter what, with or without help. At the end of the day, when we win, it will be because millions of people are out in the street and doing the job. And we are doing the job. If things are coming out in the media, it's because medias are looking like total fools, because Joe Schmo like me are exposing truth that you cannot hide anymore. So they have to talk about some stuff, and the more people talk about it on social media, in the street, to their neighbors, to their parents, the more the mainstream media will have to go along with it. So, and that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing these days. Every single human plays a role. I have a friend who, I have many friends who don't believe any of this conspiracy stuff, and they just want the government version. And You know, some of them I realized, well, at the end of the day, they help me. Like one of those guys, he lives here. I won't say his name because maybe people don't want to hear, he doesn't want to hear his name. But, you know, we had a bit of an argument about some stuff that was going on in the sky above us. And, and I felt bad after. I was like, oh man, this guy was just trying to have a nice walk and he bumped into me and we ended up talking about this and we both feel shitty after. And I didn't accomplish anything because he wants to remain in denial, and that's okay. But when I saw him the next day or the next night, I don't remember when, he had some vegetables with him that he picked from his father's garden, and he gave me some. So I was like, you know what? This guy might be in denial, but at the end of the day, he's helping me, and he's helping me put out the truth by alleviating some of the, you know, I don't have to go find some vegetables because he gave me some. So that's just one way that everybody plays a role, and it's not necessarily an obvious role. So maybe around you there's some people that make you mad because they don't agree with you, but maybe they're helping in other ways, or maybe they're helping other people. You know, there's some people that are very asleep that I know, but they do a lot of good around them. Or people that are very religious, like to a point where they're dumb, but they're helping people. Out of fear of God, maybe, but they're helping people. At the end of the day, it's your actions that count, so fine, you know. I still tell these people that maybe they should prepare for a day will come pretty soon. They might have the shock of their lives, so they might, you know, I just try to tell them, like, start psychologically preparing for, like, to be very disappointed for a while. And also I tell them there's some good stuff after. That's why I'm fighting. That Star Trek scenario that I'm talking about, it's not a joke. Like, we could have that for real. And I don't even like Star Trek, but I mean those kinds of technologies, yeah, we can have that. We have technologies to re-green the deserts. We have technology to desalinate some of the ocean's water. We don't need oil. We get plenty of alternatives. So, you know, this planet can be really nice. But we have to go through the caca right now. So, okay, so we have to do the job. Every human plays a role. And we have to remain vigilant of any kind of liberation plan or offering, like, you know, Nasara, Jasara, that kind of thing. That sort of, here we are, we're taking you by the hand again, and you don't have a choice, this is our system. We got to be careful about that. Like, what is attached to that? What are the conditions? Is it like, oh, now we have contact with extraterrestrials because we can go to space and they can come to see us, and oh, but you know, maybe like they have a certain skin condition and they're contagious, so we're gonna have to inject you every 6 months with some stuff. Does that remind you of something? So we got to be very, very vigilant about what will be offered to us, and ideally nothing should be offered. Everything should be voted by everyone. But I'll talk about that in another episode, I guess. Okay, this new world that we want, and I'm going to finish with that, I'm almost done. This new world that we want comes with conditions. I'm going to go through them in order. First of all, we need to accept that we were in an illusion. A lot of us have accepted that. Not all of us have accepted the whole thing. But a lot of us are accepting that, and it's tough work. You got to work on yourself to sort of be okay with that. That means connecting with reality, with the truth. And a lot of people, I will have to talk about this a lot. A lot of people don't know what the truth is. There's been a lot of, I would say, propaganda to make people believe that truth is not objective, that you can make up your own truth. Like, this is my reality, my truth. And that is not true. Real truth, objective truth exists. Truth is very simple. It's what is and what was. It's as simple as that. Everything else is, it's perception. this is how I feel about this thing. But people make how they feel about something become the truth. That's how you get a population to be in fear and accept any fake reality, because they're disconnected from the truth. So we need to accept we were in an illusion, connect with reality, and understand that truth is objective. It's what is and what was. Then we need a better sense of spirituality. Just understanding that everything is connected, that yes, what you do today will impact tomorrow, will impact other people, will impact nature, will impact the earth. So every move you make, counts. So, and that's a very, very shallow version of spirituality, but that's sort of the gist of what we need to understand and make happen, that everyone understands that everything is connected. And that kind of means stop saying, I don't care. It's kind of what it's about, caring about stuff. Then we need a better sense of morality. We are completely out of whack with morality on this planet. I got good news for you though. The solution is pretty easy, thanks to a guy named Mark Passio that I keep talking about, because he's made it a science. He actually has a documentary called The Science of Natural Law. And basically he explains how morality works and how the result of a good morality amongst the aggregate of humans, good morality equals more freedom, bad morality equals slavery. So we've been bad, we gotta be good. Then, a better sense of discernment. Oh yeah. We need to, basically, we need a little bit less TV series and maybe a little bit more documentaries. If I want to be really practical about it, that's kind of what it is. I'm just moving because there's some people who don't want to bother them because I speak loud sometimes. So, yeah, better sense of discernment. This new world that we want requires new knowledge about ourselves, about how we function, about our environment, about the dangers also. So discernment is key. It also means we need to, and that's a big one, we need to accept collectively that evil exists. We've seen it. We've been getting it in the face for a while now. Forever, actually. But we need to recognize that it exists. And we need to ultimately reject it. Reject it in everything. So you see a movie that promotes evil, don't watch it. Shut it down. You see, and maybe say it, I won't watch that. It's some satanic crap. I'm not interested. And evil doesn't just mean satanic, but we'll talk about what evil means eventually. But just reject it within us and in the world around us. Too many people are saying, okay, I think saying, yes, inject me with something so I can keep my job, that's evil. That is pure evil as far as I'm concerned. And it has to be rejected. And it can be rejected. So many of my friends, I was so mad when they told me they did that, because there were so many things they could do legally, and so many things they could do to avoid that. And anyways, it's personal choices. I'm not in their shoes, they're not in mine, and it's done. So and finally, we need better choices that will result in better actions, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. We live in a 3D world. We still live in a 3D world where physical actions define what is happening. So if you do all that I said, it will lead us to better action, and that will reflect in the 3D world. I really should have brought my guitar. Oh man. Anyways, I'm happy to talk to you still. Okay, so it comes down to responsibilization, which is another thing I will talk about often. Responsibilization, um, like, it means that we act like empowered humans instead of chickens in a farm, which is basically what, as a collective, it's what we've been doing, acting like chickens in a farm and just worshiping the farmer because he gives us a bit of corn, you know. And we need to stop that because the farmer means to eat us. So we got to become like co-creators, making our own decisions based on what we want. Responsibility is an interesting word, you know, becoming responsible. You know what it means? It doesn't mean having to do everything. It means becoming response able. You're able to respond to whatever life throws at you because you're responsible. You're response able. So that's my goal with these videos, to help people become a bit more response able. So it means we have to make decisions. Like I was saying in the last video, you know, what do you want? So we have to decide what we want and make our decisions in accordance with reality. So based on truth, what is and what was, according to morality, based on the natural law that Mark Passio teaches. And it's not just him, but I think he's the guy that sort of codified this whole thing in a way that can be digested easily. And I would add to that that we also need to follow our intuition, meaning our spiritual connection. Whatever choices we have to make, if it doesn't feel right, we shouldn't do it. But we have to be able to recognize what feels right from an ego point of view and from a true spiritual point of view. So I'm talking about the true spiritual, of course. And all that might seem very dramatic, that, you know, that the white hats coming out and arresting all the leaders of the world, and then we have this Star Trek thing, technology that changes everything, and then we are changing and learning natural law and learning, you know, making all these decisions and becoming responsible. It sounds maybe very big, very dramatic, but it really doesn't have to be. It can be fun, actually, and that's the whole premise of this best apocalypse ever. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a lot of fun. Like, oh my God, I'm now more evolved. I'm now more conscious of what is going on around me. Oh wow, now I have access to this technology. When I discovered cryptocurrencies, for example, I was like, man, this is amazing. Like, you can be your own bank. You can start all kinds of, like, this technology. It's like when the internet came on. Like, it changes everything. And I'm not necessarily pro crypto that much, because I recognize the dangers. But I do believe this technology allows for incredible things. And I think if we're smart enough, we'll use it, and we use it well, it will really bring us some good stuff in the future. So it doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be perfect either. We don't know exactly where we're going, but we have to go there. We can't stay attached. You know, the most difficult thing when you want to go from point A to point B is to let go of point A so you can go to point B. Because when you let go of point A, you're not already at point B. You're in between, and you're kind of lost in between, and you sort of don't know exactly where to go. Like, you're trying to grasp at something, and that's very, very scary. It's scary enough that a lot of people go back to point A because they're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm lost. You're not lost. You're just in between. You're on your way. So let's just do it. Let's get out of the old paradigm. I think that's the most important thing. And each one of us should do it to the level that they're comfortable with, that they can handle. Being comfortable is not good. There is no moving forward if you're comfortable. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to be shaken in order to have a change. It's like change happens when you're out of your comfort zone. So we have to get out of our comfort zone, and that's exactly what we're going through right now. It's a pain in the butt because we're going in a new direction. So it can be fun and creative. And to me, I've decided that it should feel like abundance. It should feel like we're going to have everything. And actually, we have everything. We have everything. We just have to rearrange it so we can use it. But it's there. Everything is there. In the first episode, I was talking about, I'm going to talk about technologies from of the future. No, it's not even from the future. It exists now, here. It's just that we don't have access to it. We haven't needed oil, gas to move cars since cars exist. The first car was working on water, on water vapor. It was probably not like Formula One category, but I mean, you know, if we put all the energies into developing these technologies instead of suppressing them, imagine what could happen. Imagine how cool this could be. So that's what I had to say. This is a long episode. I might split it in two just so people can digest it. I hope you enjoy it. I will try to make things a little bit lighter next time. This was a bit heavy, but I really wanted to say all these things. Let me know what you think. Let me know your experiences relating to these subjects. And together, let's have the best apocalypse ever. Ciao, ciao.